This is a rough draft of a FireWise presentation for a public meeting at the Woodside Town Hall on 3/30/2010. I'm John Carnes with CERPP. Tonight I want to provide you with some new information that will help you to prevent your home from burning down when a wildland fire moves through your neighborhood, even when you're not home and with little or no help from the fire department. We want to achieve this without sacrificing the things that make your home a desirable place to live. And we want to achieve this with an incremental approach that will let you spread the cost and effort of this change out over time. The old wildland fire message was that you needed to have 100 feet of defensible space to make your home fire safe. Most homeowners interpreted this to mean a yard with no vegetation, cutting down trees that they love, and a project that was just unimaginably hard to achieve. This model derived from an older style of fighting wildland fires as well. A model where fire trucks were used to protect individual structures. The fire department needed a wide driveway, room to turn around to point their engine back down the driveway, and enough cleared vegetation that they could work safely around your home. The new science looks at what causes homes to burn in a wildland fire. We see that it's a myth for fire to sweep through a neighborhood, consuming everything in its path. We see houses burn well ahead of the flame front. We see trees and vegetations in the yard that have not burned, even when the house did burn. And we see homes that have survived. The first danger that your home will face is the ember storm. It's important to keep these embers or firebrands out of your home. They can't get inside of your home, they can't get in cracks or vents of your home, and when they land on your home, they need to find a surface that does not invite ignition and fire. As the firebrands blow ahead of the fire, they'll land in your yard. Some things will catch fire. They'll land on your house. The goal is to keep these fires small enough that they don't become enabled to burn your house down. So we start to think about when an ember lands in fuel, what kind of fuel burns easily? And the answer is it's light, dry fuels, pine needles, leaves, twigs, that sort of thing. That same ember landing on a large log or dimensional lumber will not have enough heat capacity to start that lumber on fire. Think about it in your fireplace. You make fires with leaves, twigs, paper, kindling. That's what catches fire right away, and that has to burn for some time before the larger logs in your fireplace will burn. So we need to look directly at our home. Where could an ember lodge that would set our home on fire? We look at where leaves accumulate around our home, pine needles accumulate around our home or on our roof. We look at cracks, holes, and vents that would allow embers to enter our home. All of these need to be removed. We see that embers on a wood-shake roof, also a big problem. Wood-shaked roofs are indeed a very serious risk of ignition for your home. One of the first things you can do, and a very easy thing to do, is keep the smaller flammable debris off your roof. Keep it clean. Don't let the leaves or pine needles accumulate on the roof. Most of the tasks to keep your home from igniting are simple gardening tasks. They're pruning bushes away from the home. They're cleaning off roofs. They're going under that juniper bush that's next to the house and removing the 20 years of dead growth. Pruning them up a little bit from the ground, pruning them back a little bit from the house. Oftentimes that's all it takes to keep the juniper bush from igniting and then igniting your home. If you have stuff stored under decks, firewood, lumber, patio furniture, that sort of thing, it needs to be moved away from the home, someplace where if an ember lodged in it, it would not ignite the home. If you can't move it away from the home, at least put a plastic tarp over it so that when an ember lands on it, it doesn't right away lodge in the flammable material. Yes, maybe a few embers will melt their way through the tarp, but hopefully by then they've used enough of their heat energy that they won't catch what's underneath away. Much of this is very easy. Much of it is very incremental. You can do this a little bit at a time. There are some things you can do that are harder, that are better. There's lots of choices. There's a big continuum here of things you can do to help your house. The science has looked at huge crown fires. And what they found is that a crown fire moves through the forest very quickly. The fire, while very, very intense and hot, doesn't stay in any one place for very long. They discovered that structures, wooden walls, 30 feet away from the main fire will usually not receive heat for long enough to ignite. This is a view of the tract as it's burning initially. This is a heat-sheltered camera looking into the fire. We're going to see the fire move right in front of the camera. It's going to consume the small twigs, the pine needles. All of this happens very, very quickly. It releases a tremendous amount of heat. And then it's passed by. It's burned those fuels already. And we see the larger remaining fuels still burning, but with much, much less intensity. About 60 to 90 seconds is what it takes for the main fire front to pass. This is a camera looking at the simulated wall. Wooden wall, 30 feet away. There's some scorching on the wall after the fire passes, but the wall does not catch fire. The lesson here for the homeowner is that we need to keep the big fire at least 30 feet away from our home.